how much could you lose and still consider coming back? How deep could treachery stab at you, but still make you continue on? And what does it mean to hide in the shadows? These are all questions for today's episode of Thursdays with Horus. We're doing the Ravenguard, first of the Shattered Legions we've ever done, and also Loyalist after doing a bunch of Traitor Legions. So this should be a good show today. Welcome to Thursdays with Horus. I'm your host, Carter Reynolds. This is 5 Up Recovery is the channel. Sobriety through hobby, coming along. So, first up, what's on the hobby table? I have the Knight Lancer is built, being painted. The armor's done. I just need to work on the skeleton itself. I'm getting to the last bit of Alpha Legion. I just have a couple sniper squads to put together, Seekers and Headhunters. And I am about to start padding out my Salamanders. I've had them since 2nd edition, and I haven't really done anything with them since the 3rd edition switchover. So I'd like to add some Inducti. They're supposed to be like post-Istvan, so they need troops. That's kind of what that army is lacking, is any troops, especially how important they are this edition. But enough about that, post what's on your own hobby table if you get a chance, that's what we're all here for. Grab yourself a brush, get yourself a beverage. I've got my night coffee ready to go, and dive into the Ravenguard with me. Ravenguard have always been one of my favorite of the legions. I think just because they're so obscure, you know what I mean? Of all the original legions, they're one of the most obscure, and I like that. I like the lesser known stuff and the little minutia of details. Ravenguard, as their name suggested, all black armor. They're kind of like the opposite side of the coin to the Alpha Legion. They are infiltration experts, stealth, reconnaissance, guerrilla warfare. They're a little less infiltration of. They don't take over or really embed themselves within the structure of their enemy. They are more guerrilla warfare, small units, rapid strikes. The decapitation strike is their main jam, which will come up in the Right War as well. Really interesting legion. Corvus Corax is great. He's kind of like a taciturn but not evil, almost like he's kind of leans towards the Conrad Kurz, but he's not, he's actually an honorable man. He was a freedom fighter originally on his planet, and was oftentimes had to do asymmetrical warfare, where they're very small amount of freedom fighters versus massive giant empires and things like that. So from the get-go, he's always been about that small asymmetrical warfare and guerrilla tactics. Their gears is updated so that it goes against sensors. It's quieter. Their power armor, even up to their aircraft. When I was building the list and making my characters today, I kind of leaned into elite jump packs, lightning claws, or for them they get Raven's Talons, which are the best lightning claws in the game. Honestly, lightning claws are already top notch, one of the best weapons, and the Raven's Talons I think are in the top 3 best weapons in the game, period. They're excellent. They're really, really good. And I went so aircraft and elite jump packs for this list. Striking really fast, coming from different angles and things like that. We'll get right into the Legion itself. Oh yeah, and if you're looking at lore, they were one of those Shattered Legions. They were almost completely devastated at the Istvan 5 drop site massacre, alongside the Salamanders and the Iron Hands. Corvus Corax disappeared and stayed on Istvan with his legion was taken down to 0.5%, less than 1% of the legion was left. And they stayed on Istvan 5 and protracted guerrilla warfare tactics until they could eventually escape. A big book about them would be Deliverance Lost. I haven't read it myself, but it details post-Istvan 5 and as they rebuild their legion. They're actually, infiltrated by the Alpha Legion, which is, hey, there's my boys. And in one of the most screwed up, John Woo would be proud moments, the Alpha Legion are actually like grafting the faces of Ravenguard guys onto themselves. They're very face off, you know. So that's a cool book. Anything with the Esteban 5 Massacre, you should get a little bit of the Ravenguard showing up and a little Corvus Corax action. Actually, it's one of my favorite moments is at the end of the first Heretic, Lorgar's book. You know, Lorgar, first Heretic, Word Bearers. This is the Word Bearers book at Esteban 5. Lorgar gets completely owned by Corvus Corax. So, like, not even in his own book, Corvus Corax goes and, you know, completely aces the guy it is, you know, the main character, the main Primarch of that book. I thought that was awesome. He had to get bailed out by Conrad Kurz. And Conrad Kurz and Corvus Corax, that's like the Lightning Claws, like Raven's Talons versus, I can't remember what his are called, but like Lightning Claw versus Lightning Claw battle. That's pretty sweet. The Lightning Claw is like the opposite end of the spectrum of the Power Fist. Lightning Claws are shreddy, very good at going through tons of infantry, and honestly good at going through heavier targets too, because you get that breaching. Rending and breaching is crazy. So if you roll a 6 on your hit, it's an automatic 6 to wound, and a 6 to wound would be breaching. So it's, you know, 6s to hit are just going right through even Terminator armor. Good stuff. Good stuff. And then, of course, the Power Fist on the other side is very slow, but, you know, strength 8, AP 2, damage 2. You know, can wreck dreadnoughts, Terminators. So they both have, you know, separate targets. I love them both. I love the love me some Raven's Talons. But yeah, let's get into the armory and Rights of War of the Ravenguard. Armory-wise, of course, they get the Raven's Talons. Same as Lightning Claws, exactly same profile. Strength user, AP 3, rending 6 up, breaching 6 up, but they also have impact initiative, which is, you know, I've always talked about anytime that you can get a bonus to your charge in this edition, like, slam it, go for it. And impact initiative, so on the charge, your attack can get initiative 5 with all these Raven's Talons. That is very powerful. That you're going to be bringing down a bunch of their guys before they even get to strike back, even if they're initiative 4, even if they're also attacking with Lightning Claws, yours go first. Which, you know, goes with that speed, that quickness. You want to be getting those charges off, so I really like those. And they also have a Corvid pattern jump pack, which can only go to command units, and it is a jump pack with a 14-inch move. Pretty cool, pretty nice. They've got a strange prime unit. It's called, or prime slot. It's called Wraiths, and a unit after they move, you can take like a willpower check, and if you pass, everyone gets disordered charges against you, which is good. It means no setup move, no volley fire, which is really important for your, you know, fast but not necessarily tough troops. However, if you fail the test, you're stunned, which is terrible. You know what I mean? So it's kind of high risk, high reward. It's the only prime slot that's like that. I did not take advantage of it. But if someone can like figure out more than my monkey brain, my smooth monkey brain can't determine what the purpose of that prime slot is. But if you know, you know, or if you've got a good idea for it, please put it in the comments below. The Rights of War themselves for the Legion, you've got your anytime that you're shot at from more than, I want to say 12 inches away, 18 inches away. If they're more than 18 inches away, they're firing snapshots at you. Kind of pushes you towards the gun line, but I went more the narrative focused, lots of, you know, jump packs and aircraft, but I think you could still take advantage of it since, you know, you're extremely fast jump pack units that can move 12 inches, set up 5 inches, still charge after that, you know what I mean, with an additional D6 inches. You should be able to sit back pretty far and get those snapshots off on you turn 1, turn 2, and then swoop in for your attacks. And aircraft, even if you come in, you know, you're always firing snapshots at an aircraft unless it does like the strafing run where it comes in and fires like all of its weapons. Even if you do a strafing run and you're firing all your weapons, they normally would be getting regular shots. You can, you know, your aircraft are so mobile that you could set up just outside 18 inches and they still be firing snapshots at you. So I think that's got some play and more, but also, you know, if you want to, just a gunline army would be incredible, like with this, with that ability. The Gambit is another interesting one. It's the Decapitation Strike. In your very first focus round, you can only do it once. You make a single attack, and if you can hit and wound, then you immediately go with the rest of your attacks, and ignore the focus roll. But if you fail, then I believe they get to go against you. So once again, high risk, high reward. Kind of I like the idea. The narrative kind of behind them is they're kind of on the edge, which makes sense. As this restructuring themselves, Shattered Legion. You know what I mean? Guerrilla warfare. It definitely makes sense. I think the Decapitation Strike is either going to be really good or really bad. And that's kind of the whole point. It's all or nothing, which is big in Heresy. And then the advanced reaction is phenomenal. It is when you're being targeted, you can move and get a shrouded roll. So you can possibly move out of range of the shooting attack completely, and if not, you've got a shrouded 5-up for the rest of the turn. Fantastic stuff. Everyone loves a feel no pain or a shrouded, damage mitigation rolls, keeping your light guys, alive for longer. The Ravenguard don't use a lot of Terminators traditionally, so I didn't take like any in my list. So the list is very fast, but it's not very tough. So having an advanced reaction where you can just pop on some shrouded could save a really, really key expensive unit. So why don't we move into the list itself? As always, we'll start with the characters. That's what we're here for, is building cool characters. I realized I should start naming them. I did not do that today, but I think moving forward, I'm gonna at least name one. You know what I mean? Have like my guy on who, the person I would be role playing if this was, a D&D game or whatever. That's what I love about this game, especially with the challenge phase. Like, it makes your character, it's so characterful, so narratively driven. To the point where me and my friends will deploy so that our ensuring that our, Callus Typhon is going to fight Corswain and stuff like that, just so you can get that. That's what we're here for. Yeah. All right. So going into the characters, my Praetor, I took a Corvid pattern jump pack. So once again, I was, anything that can make your Praetor unique is awesome. And the Corvid jump pack gives him that quicker move. I think it'll be a little, you're going to want to put him with the Dark Furies, because they're going to have that Corvid jump pack as well and be able to keep up with the speed. But even if he's 2 inches faster than the other squad members, you can definitely still just get that extra little inch or two, keeping yourself in coherency, but being able to get that charge off. You know what I mean? So I gave him a Corvid pattern jump pack, Raven's Talons, and Melta Bombs. So he's pretty good. He's great shredding units. Any infantry, even elite infantry, he's going to be having good time against. And then not so good against dreadnoughts and things like that. But if you go into a bunch of vehicles, you got Melta Bombs in there just to help you try and peel 4 more wounds off of something. I took a Centurion. I kind of went the same. He's kind of a mini Praetor. I took the Corvid pattern jump pack, pair of Raven's Talons, once again Melta Bombs. And finally, I took a Master of Descent, the new guy. I just learned about this from the first journal, the Istvan 5 Massacre Journal. It's a really interesting, it's a jump pack unit. I gave this one Melta Bombs and a Power Fist. So this one kind of picked different targets, kind of trying to go into Terminators or into Dreadnoughts more than going into big blocks of infantry. So, but the cool thing is he's got a Stratovox. So not only can he deep strike on turn 1, but if he's on the field, he lets you auto deep strike in your units, which is fantastic. I took 3 units of jump packs in this army. So 1 or 2 of them you can 100% have deep striking in. He could deep strike in turn 1. Most of them are melee units though. So deep striking a melee unit is a little iffy since you can't charge on your first turn coming in. So you kind of want to deep strike them behind stuff, and then in a position where they can move and then attack, a lot of the field. I suppose if you really wanted to, you could do a veteran assault squad, and everyone had really nice pistols and stuff like that. So you come in and get a good shooting in. But whatever the case, this guy's going to really help you with your strategy. If you've drop pods coming in, you've got multiple guys in jetpacks. Master Descent seemed really fun. And I gave my Centurion Paragon of Battle. Just, so he's kind of like a miniature Praetor. He's got weapon skill 6, dicing it up, good in challenges. All three of my heroes have jump packs, you know what I mean? And then we'll go right into the list itself. To finish out the Crusade detachment, all I did was take a 16-man tactical squad, very specific number, and the reason why is my first detachment is a fast attack detachment. Auxiliary fast attack, you get 2 of them, so I took a Storm Eagle. The Storm Eagle is a flyer, it's transport, it's got a bunch of heavy guns on it, and the idea is that turn 1, or if you can get your roll off turn 1, or hopefully turn 2, this thing swoops in with 16 tacticals and just drops them off on an objective. Mid-board or further objective from you, or so that you can, this list is lacking a lot of line, and this is the only one that it's got. And the Storm Eagle, if you wanted, you could also deploy the tactical squad onto the field itself and start on an objective in your home field. And then I've got a 7-man command squad with jetpacks, so bulky 2, so that would be 14. And then with a hero, they could go on to the Storm Eagle instead. So you've got a little tactical decision. Do you want like a line unit that you can drop onto an objective, or do you want an absolute kill unit that could go hit any target on the field? Also, an interesting thing about the Storm Eagle, and one of the reasons you might want to put the Praetorian command squad in there, is that you can charge out of a vehicle, or out of an aircraft. You cannot charge out a deep strike on the turn you come in. You cannot charge on an outflank the turn you come in. Even if you came in on a vehicle, so like a Land Raider Explorer, you would not be able to charge the turn that you came in from outflank. However, aerial reserves do not have that issue. So turn 1, you can zoom out with your Storm, your Storm Eagle, get far up the field, and then you could move out with your Praetorian command squad and then still charge. That is like probably, that's almost a 40-inch threat range right there. That's anything on the field. Albeit the unit doesn't have Vanguard, but still, just there's your decapitation strike, and you could do that on turn 1. Fantastic stuff. So that Storm Eagle is really fun. And I took a Xiphon Interceptor. It's pretty much just 4 las cannons and our centerline rotary missile launcher, which is pretty good. It's like AP3, damage 8. On like a super flimsy, very fast like fighter plane. I just thought it was cool. This thing probably is going to get shot down as soon as it comes in, unless you set yourself up 18 inches or further, so you get that snapshots it gets you, even on a strafing run. Just a quick, I imagine the Storm Eagle coming in and it's got its combat air patrol, the CAP, the Xiphon Infiltrator, or Interceptor, not Infiltrator. Just kind of cool. Next detachment, I'll backtrack a little bit and do the Apex that I bought with my Praetor. This is an elite Army Vanguard, so I've got 3 elite slots. I took 10 Dark Furies. They are the special unit. They are Corvid jetpacks with Raven Talons, weapon skill 5, 3 attacks apiece, so they actually get 5 attacks apiece. They lack Vanguard, but they can just about go into any infantry in the game and just decimate right through it. They'll be attacking long before Terminators would be. You can go in, you're kind of shooting for 6s. You're only wounding on 5s, but 6s to hit and 6s to wound are AP2, cutting right through. And with 5 attacks a guy, 10 guys, that's 50 attacks. That's going to be quite a few. And then a character in that unit as well. It's going to be a nice one. The Dark Fury squad, definitely something to look at for the Raven, or for the Alpha Legion Steel. I think one of the scariest units in the game, just with its speed and its damage potential. Next up are the Mordathon. In the Army Vanguard, I took 2 squads of 5. These are your infiltrator snipers. They have cameoline cloaks, which give them a shrouded save, which is pretty cool. And then it boosts the shrouded save. If their shrouded save is, if they already have one, it boosts it up +1. So I'm pretty sure if you were to throw on that advanced reaction on these guys, they'd have 4-up shrouded. Seems good. They have Nemesis bolters, which I don't think are as good as Kraken bolters with your, I think Seekers and Kraken bolters are going to just have more volume of fire, and breaching 4-up, it's just insane. But the Nemesis bolter is nice because it has breaching, precision, and pinning all popped right into it. So, you know, it's less shots, but it's more in the package. And these guys have something called Sudden Strike, where once per game, if they stay still, they can boost their ballistic skill by 2. So they're already ballistic skill 5, they go up to 7. That means they're getting crit hits on 5s. Good stuff. Once per, you know, you turn 1, they're already infiltrated. Get them in a tower, get them in a building somewhere, and then just, you know, pick the unit with the Praetor, as long as it's not in a transport. If it is, I took a armored support. I think that just about vehicles are so good in this edition. I think that everybody needs like an anti-tank portion of their army. So even if it wasn't quite narrow to it, you know, I still took a Predator with twin las cannons and sponson las cannons. So just cheap as chips, 4 las cannons on a tough chassis, pretty nice. And then I took 2 Vindicator siege tanks for those Magna laser destroyers. So that, you know, turn 1, you try and pop their land raiders with those Magna destroyers and their ordnance 6 damage. And then your snipers, you know, go for the crispy, crunchy interiors. So once you punch on turn 1, you also have, you know, your Storm Eagle swooping in, hitting them from all sides. You know, it's kind of a fun list. The final detachment I took was another auxiliary detachment, and this is a special one just for the Master of Descent called the Planetfall Spear Tip. This was really cool. You can take a retinue as long as it's Praetorian squad with jump packs, and then you can take 2 elites that are prime as long as they are veteran assault squads. So I took all of that. This is like where like 900 points of my list is. You've already got the Dark Fury squad, which is really powerful jump pack squad. I then took 2 veteran squads of 10. Each one has, they all got combat shields. They've got a 5-up invuln in close combat. Melta bombs on the sergeant. They both took 3 power fists and a power fist on the sergeant, so 4 in the unit, and then chainswords on the rest of the guys, just as ablative wounds. And, you know, these guys are going into heavier targets. They are veterans. They got 5 up to hit. They are Vanguard, which is very good since you're not getting it from your Dark Furies. And either of them is a good spot to park one of your heroes, I think. You know, I also took, since they're both prime, I took Master Sergeant on both so that veteran sergeant has Melta bombs, power fist, and can take place in challenges. Extra attack, bonus weapon skill. A lot of weapon skill 6 guys in this list because of that. So, you know, hopefully you'll be smacking through the challenge phase. And then finally I took a Praetorian command squad that I was talking about earlier. It's only 7-man, and it's once again got 3 power fists in there, and then 4 pairs of lightning claws. They weren't command or sergeants, so I couldn't take Raven's Talons, but I still think that just power fists and lightning claws in the same unit. Once again, that's 7-man, so you can park a character in there and still go in the Storm Eagle if you want, or you can start them on the field, or you can deep strike them in. You have a lot of deployment options for them. And as with the rest of the army, you know, these veteran assault squads can either be deep striking in, they can start on the field behind cover and move really fast up. They got Vanguard, so they're good for removing stuff from objectives. You know, it's a list that's lacking a big Terminator block. It does not have a lot of line units, just the 1, but I think it's a fun, fast, kind of taking over the whole field. You got enough snipers and enough precision. You've got a precision on your Dark Furies as well, so they're good character killers. It's definitely good at taking out characters and, you know, removing Praetors before they get a chance to do anything. So that's the list. I've kind of droned on a little bit too long. Ravenguard, really fun, always been a maybe list, and now that Shattered Legions are coming out, you know, I could easily add them to my Salamanders, which would be pretty fun. So actually, the only Seeker squad I have in my Salamanders are painted as Ravenguard, because they were supposed to be absorbed in, you know, as the part of the Shattered Legions. But that's the show. I will roll for the next Legion on in a YouTube short. However, I think I'm going to take a break since we're almost exactly a third through the Legions. I'm going to take a break after next week and do Knights, since I'm super getting in on the Knights. So tune in about, you know, 15 seconds, I'll post the video rolling for the Legion. We're getting pretty low. Or we're getting pretty, like, we're going to start rolling a D12 instead of a D20 soon, just because we're going to have so many rerolls and whatnot. But you folks take care. Thanks for watching. Hit that like and subscribe if you get a chance. But even if that's not your thing, I appreciate you sticking around this long. Have a good one, everybody. Happy hobbying.